What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 8 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time in a massive battle over Carrick Buftar with the garrison there made up of clan rats and Skaven slaves, who were able to see off the forces of a full stack belonging to the Golden Order, which included Balthazar Gelt himself. It also meant that Ikit Claw didn't have to get involved, which I guess is unfortunate from a XP perspective, but it did provide us a very nice battle, so I can hardly complain. Now Ikit is going north as we have gotten a war declaration from Arguelon, and it is thus likely that we will be facing off against Durthu shortly. Not much to say otherwise, so let's begin. We do have a lot of buildings that we prepared to build here because of expansionist planning, so let's start on those. Definitely get the warp lightning capacitors here. Yeah, just keep making more money. And might as well just upgrade all these little minor buildings as well. Not so much because we need to, but, well, they do make a decent difference amount of money, especially when they cost less. Well, obviously, well, do we really need the alarm tunnel right now here? I suppose the orcs could always come over, so we probably do. Plus, they actually make a decent amount of money for the Skaven, unlike, I think, all other factions, or most other factions at the very least. So it's actually very decent to build walls, nonetheless. Same thing goes for you, and wow, our money's dropping quick. Now, I would like to get the back tunnels here, but there is other stuff that we may want to build. For example, I did want to get the upgraded warp forge in Sartosa so that we could get access to warp lightning cannons, and then probably a wall in Zvorak, at the very least a basic wall, since we can't upgrade you further. We'll want the same thing in Verdanos and Dargalis, though we are now starting to run out of cash for it. Alright, well, build it anyway. We got a wall to place us up. Maybe they can hold off a basic Orky stack at level 2, though I somehow doubt it. Yours were at level... Well, actually, Carrick Buftar's was at level 2 as well, and they managed to hold off a stack. But it really depends on what exactly is in the Orky army. We shall see. And plus, it also depends on which particular map we luck into, or not so luck into. Also, Karakazor, now that you've done those upgrades, you can switch back to exploitative planning, and hopefully we'll get another rebellion. Oh, we already have a rebellion. Nice. Well, then hopefully that rebellion will build up and give us money. Ikit, you're gonna march stand south, let's say here, and we will proceed to Fort Saul. Maybe we can take it a tier... Oh, there's Durthu. Oh. Well, too late now. I was just thinking maybe I should have stopped you. Ooh, can you reach us? It doesn't look like it. I was just thinking, what if while in... That was a risky move. I somewhat regret that, but it worked out at the end. What could have happened is if this guy was close enough, he could have moved to attack us while Durthu used his World Root stance to jump over us and attack us together. And yeah, for Durthu specifically, Durthu should be weak to fire, and in fact everybody here is weak to fire. We'll probably want to give the fire canister to one of these guys. Actually, what's the difference between the Regiment of Renown and the regular unit? What do you guys have? Just concealment bombs, that's it? That's the only thing that makes you different? Other than a slight increase in damage? Huh, okay, what about you guys? We got Shield Breaker on both of you. And you have, what is this? You have Snipe, this unit remains hidden while firing, pretty nice, and Stalk as well. Okay, well that can certainly be useful, and we can definitely set you up on like a different hill and put you on a different angle, which could be quite nice. Yeah. But yeah, maybe give one of these guys the fire canisters for Durthu specifically. Just for the extra range, because we should be firing on him. Although his HP pool is so huge, I honestly don't think that they'll do that much damage to him. And we do still have to deal with all those Glade Guard. But anyway, that'll be a problem when we actually get to that. We also now don't have enough money to do the rights to get the Doom Engineer up, but I guess we'll do it next turn as we'll get the 5.7k. Alrighty, well, we've moved. Let's see how Durthu reacts to all this. I imagine he's gonna come down south. Though I suppose we'll see. Alrighty, Garrison Lord not moved. Ooh, yes, Charge Lock. I don't want to have forgotten about you. You need to join Ikit. And I guess the faster way would be going this way. Though I suppose by going this way we could see if you attack us. You know what? No, go this way. Go this way. Just in case, if we want to jump to Dark or Grimhold, we will probably want to go around. I hope I don't regret this. Alrighty, and then you. I did actually want to get you a few more things to potentially get another army, but I suppose you can deliver the 2 death mortars, or death mortars, I wish death mortars, poison wind mortars, to Ikit, while we get another temporary army here later to start building up, or not temporary army, to start building up and to defend and possibly attack the Bloody Hands, while Ikit is busy. I do imagine that something's gonna happen here. We may have to summon Regiment of Renown again, and possibly a Lord again. Depending on how quickly these guys build up. Certainly concerning, but we shall see if it works out. Alright, unassigned skill points will ignore except an Ikit's army. I don't think he's going to get attacked, but why risk it? Let's get you Foe Seeker. And you got 3 more levels? No, 5 more levels until your Bone Breaker. Okay, well, we'll get there eventually. And the turn, let's see what Durthu does here. Did he already move, or did that army disappear because of Fog of War? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think Durthu moves first, and well, no, Arg will... Now, there he is in... No. Now, where are you going? That's what I'd like to know. Huh. Well, I suppose we'll see. Alrighty, Warherd the One-Eye is up somewhere, and it doesn't really matter where. Now, Ikit, you... Is this guy in range? Oh, he is in range. Ooh, I wanted... Oh man, we could get Fort Saul, but then what might happen is this guy just jumps over and attacks Garrett Bufdar again before he gets those walls up and running. We could risk going for Deluric here. If he fails his ambush check, we might get an ambush on him, which would be nice. And while I do want Fort Saul, we can always come back for it. This seems like a good possibility. Let's give it a try. We don't have any extra stances to increase our ambush ability, do we? No, not really. Alrighty. Come on, please, ambush, work for us. Damn, it did not work. Alrighty, well, I do wonder how he's going to act then. Ooh, okay, fine. Here's what we'll do. We'll move back here, and most likely, these two are going to attack us together. I'm willing to bet that they will. So what we'll do here is... Do we want another level in Warp Lightning, or do we want to increase mobility for this? Or, you know what? We want the standardized fire drill. This is why we want multiple Warlock Engineers. I do imagine that somebody would probably have done the calculations as to the optimum number for Warlock Engineers in Ikit's army, but I don't know what that optimum number is myself. Gonna have at least 2, and then we'll see what we can fit. Charge Lock, move here. I'll be very happy if these two attack us together. It'll be a very interesting fight, if nothing else. We do have the nuke to bail us out in an emergency. And now we should also be building stuff. Zvorak has built its walls. I guess we do the same thing here. And you know what? This time we're gonna pop that, Scheme of Doom. There we go. And now, I was originally gonna send this guy to Lothern. Wait, where did he spawn? At Skavenblight? Or did he spawn on our faction leader? He spawned on our faction leader. Alrighty, now, yeah, I was thinking of spawning you in Skavenblight, but on the other hand, or not Skavenblight, I was thinking of sending you to Lothern, but on the other hand, by sending you to Lothern, we essentially identify this faction, and they all declare war on us. Alternatively, we go up north and send you up to the Chaos Territories, and start growing... Yeah, I guess we go up north. I like that idea better. I want him to essentially hit a bunch of... Well, just the one, really. I want you to... establish something that makes a lot of money, like Brass Keep, for example. Yeah, Brass Keep or Middenland, but most likely Brass Keep, as I don't think I've ever seen it fall. So yeah, that'll be making like 4,000 gold a turn eventually. And you can get an Undercity there. Alrighty, and those guys are good, and you can now move those Death Mortars. I keep calling them Death Mortars. Poison Wind Mortars. Oh, damn it. Oh, no, we're not going to suffer attrition, we're fine. Out. You can switch back to Exploitative Planning, and our food is going to be 100% soon, so we gotta hurry up with that. Let's upgrade that harbor while we're here. Miragliano, you... got your walls. You definitely need the arcane generators, and you well, you don't want the Taskmaster's platform, at least not right now. Get you the Rattling Warrens. You're making decent cash, and let's get a wall here next turn, I guess. Damn, don't have enough money. You know what? We'll switch the wall out, and we'll do this right now. And, 900 short. Can't switch anything out here or here. We switched you back to exploitative planning. Yes, yes. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll have to forego this upgrade for next turn, but we'll switch back to exploitative nonetheless, just for the extra little bit of food. And you can stay an expansionist. And oh, you can actually upgrade something. Yeah, let's do that. And hopefully it won't be too late to get those walls in Argalis. Now, let's end the turn and let's see about Durthu. Let's see if he attacks all of the... Let's see if he attacks Ikit's army. Building upgrade available, not what? What building upgrade is available? What building upgrade do we have enough money for? Oh, and that's not really an upgrade, is it? You can build the Rattling Warrens, though. And, corruption is now reduced, but oh well, not a big deal. And the turn, come on, Durthu, come and attack Ikit. You know you want to. Too bad we don't have Balequint there right now. And honestly, if he doesn't attack Ikit, there may still be potential, as in we could, if we wanted to, maybe attack Kingsglade. And this may be a good opportunity. It's undefended. Oh, we intercepted you. Oh, you poor idiot. Close victory, really? Oh, Chargelock's army intercepted this. Huh. Well, we could fight this. Honestly, yeah, we should fight this. The auto-resolve is lying here. The enemy's stronger than it seems. How would we be killing the Treekin here? I suppose that'll be up to the Warp Grinders and the Vulcan Tail Slashers, but we're not getting through that armor with the Skaven Slave Slingers, and we'd have to catch all those Deepwood Scouts and Glade Guard. This is definitely going to be a harder battle than it looks, so we are going to fight it, and we're going to do so cinematically. And get to it. Good job for intercepting this slave army, I guess. Huh, apparently you don't get speeches during underway interceptions. Okay, well, you disappoint me, Chargelock. Come on, man. You gotta give a speech. If this isn't an ambush... Well, I guess it sort of is an ambush, but not really. Close enough, I suppose, as far as the game is concerned. Anyway, here we go. This was certainly not the interception that I was expecting or hoping to get, as I was hoping that Ikit would be the one to get it. But it looks like our Skaven slave army is the one that's going to have to fight, which is what can make this battle interesting, as this army was never meant to fight alone. It wasn't built for it. It was built to reinforce Ikit, and thus we have to rely on piles of Skaven slaves to beat units that would one-on-one each obviously destroy the Skaven slaves. But of course, the sum of its parts is greater... Wait. The whole is greater than the sum of its... There we go. That's the thing that I want to say. I think our army should be able to handle this if we're careful. Besides, we do have a couple ringers in the form of our two soul grinders, I wish, warp grinders, as well as our single unit of warp fire throwers and our clan Vulcan tail slashers, which may be very much needed here, as the enemy does have two units of Treekin, which are obviously vulnerable to fire, but also that we have very little recourse against. I mean, these guys are pretty heavily armored. They also look quite nice, though not quite as nice as the Malevolent Treekin, mind you, but nice enough. Yeah, these guys got 90 armor, and we're going to have to deal with that with a pile of Skaven slaves, which is where the difficulty is going to come in. Anyway, speaking of Skaven slaves, where spears are running in, and they're going to be taking damage from all of these Glade Guard, Hagbane tips, and otherwise. Looks like the enemy's brought plenty of Hagbane tips as well, though not that we care about the Skaven slave spears getting damaged. Looks like one of the units is already broken and has been more than halved in terms of its HP, and I'm willing to bet that another one will probably follow suit shortly. And that said, most of our army is nearing the enemy now. They're going to be tying up some Dryads shortly, and hopefully we'll engage enough units to also be able to tie up the enemy range units, who are going to be the biggest concern here. There we go. Alrighty, first of our Warp Lightning's coming down, looking like it did pretty good damage both to the Dryads and the Glade Guard here, though this Glade Guard got a unit of Menace Below summoned upon them. And oh, this was kind of a gaffe on my part. It's kind of funny. So I used Scorch here, and I remember there was a very long sort of breath type thing. And so I used it here, right? Look, and it goes through these dryads, and it goes through these Glade guard, and then promptly, let's see this unit for full HP, promptly turns at the river and just absolutely obliterates our own unit of Skaven slaves. Basically deletes one of our own units, doing more damage to us than it did to them. I really was not expecting it to bounce off the edge of the river, although I absolutely should have been, because I bounce abilities off of stuff all the damn time. Yeah, that was my bad. Poor Skaven slaves. But on the other hand, they should be used to being destroyed by friendly fire, especially where Clan Skryre is concerned, because they just love testing their weaponry on Skaven slaves. Anyway, piles upon piles of dead rats around the Waystalker, as well as these units of Treekin and these dryads, but fortunately we do have more where that came from. Another warp lightning coming down. We are now starting to focus down enemy units of ranged with our own units of ranged. Fortunately, the enemy units of range are not very resistant to the slinger damage, or at the very least aren't nearly as resistant to the slinger damage as they'd like to be. Oh, I like that crisscrossing ranged fire there. And we've also sent in our warp grinders to do the seismic snare and the warp quake on the enemy dryads. Don't know how effective it'll be, but I suppose we shall see. We're also repeatedly summoning those menace belows upon the enemy, and this one was a good one. It managed to get 2 enemy units, and looks like it's doing pretty heavy damage to them. Fortunately, the Deepwood Scouts are fairly weak in melee, and their melee attack is only at 7. Huh, wait. Why is it only at 7? What's debuffing this? Ah, damn, the debuff was gone. Well, for a while it was, oh, was it due to the explosion of the menace below, perhaps? Stable binding, no, that's unbinding. Scurry away, melee defense, strength, and numbers. I'm not entirely sure what debuffed them. Well, I'm hardly complaining about it, as they got pretty badly beat up. And we are continuing, and the bounce power is now in our favor. Our other unit of soul grind, warp grinders, damn it, has marched forth and is now applying that seismic snare and warp quake to additional units of range here, and it's just all the range units that we have to silence. So more menace below, and gonna come in and take these guys out. We really need to run these guys off the map so that they don't rally. And let's see, the dryads are all starting to die. There is still the Waystalker around, and the Treekin. The Treekin remain a pretty massive problem. That was an overcast unit of warp lightning, or use of warp lightning. They're in the hopes of damaging the Treekin, plus our Lord is fighting them a little bit as well, in the hopes that he can damage them. He does have armor piercing after all, though. It's definitely a toughie bringing them down here. Our army's pretty badly beat up, though it looks like at this point pretty much all the enemy range has been taken care of, and well, I guess not that one, but I'm sure that one will be gone soon. And we just have to figure out a way to kill these Treekin. We're now starting to also focus them down a little bit with our Skaven slave slingers in the hopes of damaging them. Same thing goes for the Waystalker here. But yeah, these guys certainly have the armor. But can they hold essentially by themselves? In fact, this unit's at half HP. It's starting to take damage to our Lord. We're going to continue using that overcast warp lightning on it. Probably not doing a crazy amount of damage to them. But it might be enough. That spell appears to have knocked, well, actually it knocked them down, but not out, but it did do enough HP damage to apparently force the unit to rout. We also have our warp fire throwers coming back, and you guys may not have noticed these guys throughout the battle, because they got kind of ripped apart by the enemy range, who did outrange them quite quickly. I suppose I should have waited for the enemy to lose all their range, or for all the enemy range to have gotten tied up here. We're also obviously using our warp grinders against the enemy Treekin, but it's now looking like the other Treekin is routing, and the battle, though a little bit closer than I suppose I'd like, is ours. Well, at the end of the day, we only lost about 1,000 troops, somewhere in the realm of a third of our army, which is not nearly as bad as I thought it could have gone. Yeah. If the warp grinders didn't get so badly damaged by ranged fire, they would have probably been a little bit more effective in bringing down those Treekin for us, as they also do armor-piercing damage. But it's a little bit difficult to support them when the enemy has a decent amount of range that does outrange us. Now, this is something that obviously, this is one of the reasons we're trying to construct those poison wind mortars, as they would be quite useful in ripping apart the enemy range so that we don't have to deal with them. There we go, a Pyrrhic victory, and I'm inclined to agree, though I'm not entirely sure that 1/3 army losses would count quite as Pyrrhic. But sure, the losses were certainly there, I don't deny it, game. At the very least, it's a win, and all it cost us was some Skaven slaves, which I imagine in the Skaven book are definitely a win. Alrighty, there we go, not too bad, and never underestimate the use of the humble Skaven slaves. We also really need to power this army up by getting them a couple Death Globe, and maybe a couple, well, definitely a couple Poison Wind Globadiers, and then possibly a couple of Death Globes as well, and then the rest can be the slave units, because then the army could be a lot stronger and acting on its own. Now, we are in our own territories, so the heal is probably not super necessary, and I feel like we'd rather take the money, as we have been, we've been needing a lot of it lately to upgrade all of our territories, so why not? Now, it looks like Durthu actually hasn't moved, which is a little bit unfortunate on the one hand, but on the other hand, if King's Glade remains unguarded, then this should definitely work out in our favor. And oh, there's Kazrak. Oh, I guess Durthu's gonna go after him. It's probably why he hasn't moved as well. Enemy killed in battle, yada yada yada, some breeders. We got tech research, nice. And Liv, you can move out here while don't cause earthquake, go and find Brass Keep. And then you, Bale Quint, are gonna go backwards. There we go. Hopefully, Scalpos over here attacks Karakazur fairly soon. And damn. Looks like we've got defenders in King's Glade now. Though that said, it's not that many defenders, and I feel like it's probably not enough defenders to challenge Ikit. Huh. Yeah, we should probably attack nonetheless. Even with Durthu there, he may try to attack us afterwards with this guy and then this guy, but if we don't take enough casualties, we'll be fine. We could also risk an underway stance jump out here, which may get intercepted just like we intercepted, but I don't know, maybe we risk it. I'm not sure that Durthu's actually close enough to intercept us, and this guy can't if he's under siege as well. What's the defenders on the Oak of Ages at its current level? Okay, that is a little bit hefty, but we might be able to burn it down as well. I'd really rather just reduce the amount of wood elves that exist as fast as possible. Now, okay, so this is gonna be a problem. I mean, we foresaw this happening. We may actually have to move Infecticate out here to apply these mortars instead to the defense as these guys are coming. Looks like Zvorak will be level 2 in terms of walls by the time the orcs get here, but depending on how many armies they send our way, it's gonna be a problem. Now, we could try to peace out with them by joining war. No, wait. I think we tried this last time and didn't quite work out. Yeah, they don't even want us to join the war against Karazakarak, so it ain't happening. Okay, well, and then we're gonna have to defend. And Zvorak ain't so ready for it. Well, we've got to take everything now. We could get the menace below, and I do like the idea because of the missile resistance and the leadership. Well, basically the entire thing of the tech. Yeah, during siege battles, it's quite a decent buff. Now, Infecticate, I guess you're going this way. Instead, I really wanted to get Ikit these mortars specifically for the Wood Elves, but we've invested money into defending this area, and now I guess we have to continue defending it. So in that light, we're going to make a temporary lord, well, temporary. Let's get Morphic back up and running. There you go, Morphic, and you are going to start building the Skaven slaves. Now, let's go, let's say 4 or 3 of these guys and then more Skaven slave slingers to combine with the defense. Now the question is, will we be able to build anything else? We could try to build a couple Poison Wind Globadiers here. Though the question is, let's see, 1, 2. I think they might not be able to actually reach us in 2 turns. I think so, depending on what these guys do. In which case we would be able to get a couple Poison One Globadiers in there, which would make the defense a lot easier. Of course, presuming that they don't skip, Zvorak and go straight for Verdanos, which would also be kind of problematic. But otherwise, let's see what else we're looking at here. Presuming that we once again ignore Durthu, we have to declare war on Kingsglade. They're currently at war with Warherd the Shadowgave, however, which does play into our hands. So you, my friend... Oh, you're willing to go Defensive Alliance? Yes, 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 outpost with you. I was gonna betray you for these territories, and we still might eventually, but I don't know, it's looking pretty good right now. Let's take the military access as well, and we will also join your war again. Oh, wait. Balance offer 1,000 for this. You know what? Don't take the military access. We'll ask for the military access later, but we will join the war against Talzin and take as much money as you'll give us. Huh, ironically, they'll be willing to do a military alliance as well, but that's not really something that we want right now. We'll keep the defensive. And just to be able to get access to a few of their units. Yeah, is this a good idea to ally with Beastmen? Probably not, but, you know, no, we gotta have some kind of allies. If only they were willing to give us a little bit more cash for this. Too bad. Wait, would they be willing to join our war against anybody? Like the Bloody Hands, for example. Wow, okay, you coward. What about Arguelon? No, they're terrified. They're terrified of everybody. Yeah, okay, never mind. I kind of don't like how the AI is like that. Like, they should be about even with us joining wars, especially against factions of roughly equal strength. But whatever, we'll do this. And I get that he's lost his army, so he's weak right now, but whatever. Defensive Alliance. And there we go, and we will build the outpost, but not right now, because frankly, we need the money. Then, Ikit, you are going to move to Kingsglade. And yes, we will attack this, but we're also going to encircle it, and we're going to get our slave army here too, and just to buff up our ranks a little bit. Risky, perhaps, but I hope that Durthu's not close enough to actually intercept. It'll be annoying if he is, but let's risk it. Come on. Okay, good. Ooh, that made me nervous, I gotta say. Alrighty, now we could obviously auto-resolve this, but it's Kingsglade, and I do feel like we should fight it, so fight it we shall cinematically again, and let's try to get some more money. We're also basically maxed out on food, and we'll most likely be maxed out here, so after burning Kingsglade, and potentially after burning the tree itself, what we'll probably want to do is immediately get to Fort Saul and then get it up to 100%, I mean a tier 5, because it'll just hold itself afterwards. Yeah. And we could also, you know what, let's get a couple uses of Menace Below, because we're going to get maxed out in this battle anyway. Presumably this will give us around 15 food. We are currently at 158 out of 165, so we're free to get 3 uses of the Menace Below, even if we don't necessarily need them. I hope I'm not wrong about calculating the food amounts, but we shall see. Anyway, cinematic battle number 2, here we go, the King's Glade. Alrighty, here we go. We've arrived at King's Glade, and we have already deployed in a way that our Warplug Jezzails can target an enemy unit, and an enemy unit at that we really wanted to target here. The single unit of Knights of the Realm that the enemy has because of the outpost here. And these guys are probably going to take a ton of damage from our Jezzails here, as they are nowhere near to and being able to fire back. Also going to get a few shots from those catapults, and look at those knights drop to those snipers. Absolutely beautiful. And there we go. These guys are pretty much out of the picture already. Let's see. They're running for it, and now we can begin the bombardment. Plague Claw's actually doing surprisingly decent in terms of accuracy here, landing lots of shots in the enemy, though of course the enemy is being quite obliging in that it is fairly blobbed up. There we go. Here come more shots, and yeah, we could really use some mortars here as well. Okay, I just praised you, Plague Claw catapults, and now you miss every shot. Come on now. Try a little bit harder. And oh, it looks like the Jezzails can actually arc over that barrier. That barrier ain't helping much. And there we go. Now the Plague Claw catapults are actually landing their shots. Beautiful. And keep firing those Jezzails. Enemy units are trying to walk through this barrier. That seems like an awful idea. They're just getting gunned down as they walk through, and then they have to run back, though they're suffering for that as well. Very nice. Mounts of power is already in our favor at about, I don't know, 60-40. Maybe 65, something along those lines. And while we've essentially lost nothing, the enemy's already taken some damage, and will continue to do so. We'll also start moving up our units shortly, but to be honest, we could continue this bombardment for quite a while. The Plague Claw catapults are nowhere near to depleting their ammunition, so there's quite a bit more damage we can do in this manner. And in fact, they will continue bombardment while we get our reinforcements on the field to help us out. Not that it's seeming like it's really all that needed here. And the Jezzails are now, maybe this is a little bit of a waste of ammunition, but this tower is actually starting to hurt them, so I decided to tell the Jezzails to attack this. And the Jezzails seem to do a pretty good job at not hitting every shot into the tree, so at least I'm happy about that. Ikit's going to get a use of Warp Lightning going as well as we continue bombarding the Eternal Guard and the Glade Guard here, or the screen apparently. Oh, they're aiming for another unit. Okay, fair enough. And now Ikit's moving forward because we want him to break down this barrier. If we break down the barrier, then we can move in our rattling guns to help out with this as well. Which would be quite nice, especially since the Jezzails are now starting to run a little bit low on ammunition, about half of one, and less than half on the Natty Bebo's Regiment of Renown. So here come our rattling gun. Let's see, barriers at about half HP as well, and a lot more units are dying, and the bombardment also continues. In the meantime, our reinforcements are on the field, and we're moving them all up and getting ready for them to help out, as well as dropping in our rattling guns as well as a menace below to sort of spread out the battlefield a little bit. There we go. Gun down your clan rats as well as the enemy, as well you should. Very nice. Not much to say there, just watching the unit get ripped apart by their rattling guns while being held down by the summon. Beautiful. And we got more rattling guns where that came from now that we have 5 on the team. Bombardment also continues, and ooh, some war dancers actually on the field. You gotta be careful about allowing those to actually reach our weapons teams, though they're going to have a very bad day running into this. Imagine being on a frickin' medieval battlefield and just going against a bunch of frickin' chain guns here, or Gatling guns rather. And not only that, I assume they're using warpstone bullets, so those bullets are also probably poisonous as all hell. Well, then again, I suppose if you're facing off against demons and the like, maybe a bunch of Gatling guns isn't the craziest thing that you've seen, but nonetheless. There we go. Those poor archers. Definitely one of the things that makes the Skaven so great, using Gatling guns against bows and arrows and swords, especially against other factions like Greenskins, who are just using extremely crude, probably iron weapons. I'm not a lore buff with regards to my greenskin weaponry, specifically how they get it. I always assumed that they would loot a lot of their weaponry, but I've taken a look at the models of greenskins specifically for this purpose, and they don't look looted, they look uniquely greenskin, which makes me think that they are forged. So I guess the greenskins do forge their own weapons in some way? No, maybe. Or maybe the, I don't know. Maybe the Chaos Dwarfs forge them for them or something. It's a possibility, though they do look awfully crude for Chaos Dwarf work. Alrighty, well, regardless, let's see the balance of power, about 80-85% in our way. The rattling guns are just absolutely obliterating enemies here. Glade Captain is now the target of their ire and their fire. Though a lot of those shots are missing, you don't have to be very accurate with these things, and you should be dead fairly shortly, or about half HP. In the meantime, our reinforcements are arriving as well and are starting to help out. They've already destroyed a unit of Glade Guard here, while Ikit, as well as a few other units, have moved in. The enemy did manage to charge a unit of mounted humans, so credit where it's due, and they did stop our rattling guns from firing, but the unit is too weak to probably do too much damage here, or at the very least make us lose too many models, and our Doom Flayers and such should be able to take care of it without too much trouble, especially now that Ikit's on the field. I imagine that Glade Guard Captain should be dead shortly as well, and no, he's still about half HP. And it looks like the enemy Ancient Tree Man is coming for us, so let us set up the remaining ammo that we have and on the Warplog Jezzails as well as the rattling guns and start working not only on this Glade Captain, who, also credit where it's due, has been taking shots for quite a while now. Like 30 seconds of sustained fire is pretty damn good. Jezzails would have definitely done this a lot quicker than the rattling guns would have, mostly because of the accuracy disparity. But at the end of the day, the Glade Guard will indeed drop, and we have plenty of ammunition because of that endless drum. Now the Jezzails are working together with the rattling guns here on the enemy Treeman, who is being held back by Ikit. Obviously, we move Ikit around the Treeman so that the Treeman's back is turned, and that the Treeman takes the shots rather than Ikit. There we go. And now I imagine the rattling guns are going to be a lot more effective here as they can hit the entire target and not miss too much. Also going to get a little bit of help from our Poison Wind Globadiers, especially as they're probably not going to be in this army all that long, as they will be replaced by Poison Wind Mortars. Normally they'd be providing anti-large benefits, but because we have the rattling guns, it's not really necessary to bother with them, as the rattling guns can serve essentially the same function. And pretty much down goes the Treeman. Focus it down, and by all the weapons teams, all those shots to the back. Add a few Poison Wind Globes onto his corpse, just end the battle, and there we go. So ends the Battle of King's Glade with pretty great ease, frankly, and I don't imagine we've taken much damage at all. I've definitely fought on this map previously before in another campaign. I don't remember which one it was, but I did the exact same thing where I set everybody up on this side and kind of ignored this side, because we have like a way through the trees here to fire all of our units. So yeah, kind of a little bit unfortunate about this map, because you essentially benefit from playing it the same every time, at least if you have range. I suppose if you had a bunch of melee units, you might actually benefit from advancing through the forest. Maybe. But I digress. Decisive victory at King's Glade, time to burn. Oh wow, we actually got 20 food, a little bit more. But anyway, there we go. So falls King's Glade, though we are going to sack it for the cash, as we do need it, which means we can't raise it on the same turn, right? We can either occupy or do nothing. Unless I'm mistaken, which I guess we're about to find out. Ikit's got himself a little bit of XP, the money is nice, and frankly, the AI could have done a better job if they had actually rushed us, rather than sitting back and trying to hold a defensive position. Wasn't all that great here. We could raise it immediately rather than sacking, but it is a considerable amount of cash. Yeah, and I don't want to occupy it. It's a red area, and even at tier 5, it's just not really worth it. Ooh, a corrosive blade. And now, just out of curiosity, we can't raise it then, right? And do nothing. Expand into Empire. No. What we could do if we really wanted to, though, is can't we loot and occupy it at level 1 and then immediately abandon it, which would allow us to heal? I never considered the option. You know what? Let's give this a try. It'll create negative public order around here, won't it? But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, abandon the settlement. This will provide 15 money. Oh, yay. I wonder, will we still heal? Not that we really need the healing, mind you, but I guess Charge Law could use some. Ah, alright, I kinda like the way that that goes. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that Durthu will jump down to Karak Buftar before it can get its walls up and running, but I suppose Charge Law could then risk, or even Ikit could then risk an underway down to Karak Buftar as well. So perhaps not so bad. Otherwise, I believe we are now out of time, and I'm gonna have to call this episode here. We've made out a nice amount of money, and presuming that Orion is nowhere nearby and Durthu doesn't attack us, we should be poised to attack and burn down the Oak of Ages itself in next turn. We may even stick around and go after the other Wood Elves. We'll see if it's worth our time. I mean, that went pretty well, and I do expect that even with a full stack here at the Crags of Findal, we may be able to burn down everything. It would be quite funny if Durthu just stayed in Grimhold while we burned the entire forest, and I do want these factions all dead as fast as ratly possible, because I just can't bother. I can't bear dealing with the Wood Elves. Ugh. And I guess there's been a few comments to the similar effect, that you just gotta make them go away so that you don't deal with them, because they're just gonna get incredibly annoying later into the game if you don't. Anyway, I digress. Next time, more Wood Elf killing, which I'm sure we will all enjoy, as well as possibly some Orc killing, as there's a very high likelihood that these guys come here, as otherwise, why would they be here, right? There's no other purpose. This also means that with the amount of money that we got, we're probably free to recruit the Poison One Globadiers. Yeah. I'll think about it. I will think about it. But I will do that next time, so stay tuned for more, Rick, and don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.